My friends, hello and welcome to another episode of GoldenEye SpeedLore. This is episode 7, and tonight we are talking about Caverns Secret Agent, a truly remarkable journey over the course of nearly 20 years that we're going to go on with lots of crazy storylines and surprises and all sorts of wild things that you're going to learn about over the next hour or so. So, let's take a look at Caverns Agent. The objectives on Caverns Agent, and it's a level where Agent, Secret Agent, and Double O Agent are all different. They all have different objectives. Agent, very simple, and Double O, very complex, and Secret Agent is, also very complex. Maybe even more complex than Double O Agent. Actually, I think most people would agree that Caverns Secret Agent is the most difficult level to complete, as in not fail, on a full game speedrun. So that makes Secret Agent full game runs really undesirable to do. Some of you might remember Lockwood did one at Smash the Record 1 or 2 years ago, and it did not go too well, to say the least. Sorry, Lockwood. But Secret Agent speedruns are really terrible, largely because of Caverns Secret Agent, and it's a crazy level, and its complexity will show even in the single level speedrun format. So let's take a look at the objectives. Objective A, destroy inlet pump controls. Objective B, destroy outlet pump controls. Objective C, destroy master control console. And D, minimize scientist casualties. And, it's a whole bunch of words. What does it mean? The best way to show you what it means is to watch a speedrun of the level. So the first one I'm going to show you is the earliest recorded video I could find, done by a gentleman by the name of Mike Martin, sort of a classic, really ancient school GoldenEye player. I have no idea. This is a guy, one of the guys who you've heard of in the history books if you kind of grew up playing GoldenEye, but I've never seen him around. Most of the guys in this ancient sort of sphere I've at least seen on the boards here and there. They stop by. Mike Martin, maybe no one knows where he is, but this was his speedrun. Caverns Secret Agent, 1 minute 45 seconds. We'll watch this and we'll go over the objectives as we see it. This was done in 1999. Okay, so here are two consoles which are part of Objective A. And you see he scares off the scientists and blows up these two consoles. So 4 total consoles, Objective A completed. So we're off to a good start, Mike Martin. Yes, November 99, just over 2 years after the release of the game, this was formed. So, literally, this video was recorded longer ago than the year 2034 is in our future. Believe that or not. That's really puts things into perspective here. Now, the reason he scared off the scientists is because you cannot kill more than 2. There are 3 in the Objective A area, so you could plausibly fail Objective D, the scientists, in that area alone. Okay, this is now the Objective B area. There's a set of 2 consoles there. A code card you want there. He's throwing a mine at that console, and then another mine at that console. So these will blow up, and we'll see Objective B completed come up here. Objective B completed. Very well. He's pretty low health. Objective C is a console set in this room, okay? Grabs the body armor to stay alive, navigates his way down the tunnel, and we're passing through the drone tunnel and into the lift. Mike Martin, Caverns Secret Agent, 145. Very nice run, probably, for 1999. So just a really wild scene. There's just so much going on, so many guards, a very laggy level. Might be the laggiest in all of GoldenEye. There's a few contenders for that, but it's up there. It's on the short list. And, yeah, so you want to blow up those consoles for Objective C. Now, there are also 2 more scientists. That's the thing. On Caverns Secret Agent, there are 2 scientists in the Objective C area, right here, in here. You can't really, maybe that's one, and maybe that's one. You can sort of make them out. So they will always die. They will always, always die, because you're blowing this stuff up, and now they die. This requires the first 3 scientists in the Objective A area to have, like, left the area and not died in those initial explosions. And that's what makes the level so challenging. So, of course, this was achieved 1999. A pretty good, good standard, I would say, to be set back in the day. Obviously, this would not last forever, okay? Soon after the 145 was achieved, Wouter Jansen, the legend of ages past, tied it, almost a year later, actually, in August 2000. And then shortly after that, a man named Tim Greneby, in November 2000, improved the time to 138. Now, we don't have any footage of Tim Greneby. He hardly had any videos. So this is Matthijs ten Ham, doing Caverns Secret Agent 138, probably from around the same era. So we'll see probably the similar strategies and whatnot. This wasn't a record when Matthijs got it, but it probably will show us if there was any sort of improvements from Mike Martin's 145. Already looks like that was a little bit smoother, kind of, instead of really kind of screwing around there and chasing the scientists off, he just kind of stayed on the stairs and chucked a mine at the screen, and we're sort of becoming more on path to the modern sort of method of Caverns Secret Agent play. And after this run, we're actually going to have a huge cut into a really sort of modern era. And, you kind of wonder back in the day, like, when you're going through these videos, when will something that's, like, really obvious be discovered? Sort of. And it's kind of cool to see, like, how these things were picked up or not picked up on over time. So Matthijs is now in the Objective B area, trying to get the code card off that guard. He gets it there, chucks them on some mines. Now I'm curious to see what he's going to do at this doorway here. He's going to open it, and he's going to not go in for the body armor, back up, and shoot a bunch of times to blow up the Objective C console there. You can see at the top it says radio damage, cannot contact Jack Wade. That is the objective on 00 Agent that makes it different from Secret Agent. So you have to actually fully go in that room and talk to Jack Wade on the radio by pressing B. Other than that, that's the one difference you have between the levels. Secret and 00 Agent. Obviously, I can't see a single... can anyone read? Yeah, no one can count these pixels. But again, that's a 138, and that shows us sort of how the time is starting to evolve at the very least. Now, Tim Greneby would allegedly improve his 138 to 137 in February 01. Sterling, another legend, came along only a few weeks later and got 132. So now we're rapidly improving. Carl got 129 in May 01. Randy Buikima, 128, August 01. And then Wouter Jansen, once again, the legend.
Name is Jansen, Wouter Jansen.
I believe that's Isa Smith saying that, to be honest. I don't know how that came about. I'm sure there's some old meme from it, some old video. I think there is actually an old video of like Isa or Matthijs pronouncing a bunch of names of other leaders from back in the day. So that's kind of cool. But here's Wouter's Caverns Secret Agent 127 from October 2001. And I think we're going to see at least one very specific strategy improvement that's going to save a good deal of time on this run. So here you can see that's a lot smoother even. He's not like wasting his time trying to bait the scientists out. He's just shooting, playing it out until it completes, and hoping that the scientists have enough wits about them to just run off and not die. And it's sort of, I guess the mentality probably changes over time. From like one where you're trying to complete every run, to just like, you're going to fail most runs. But you have to just keep playing them out hundreds and hundreds of times until one completes. And certainly, Caverns Secret Agent is one of the levels where you have to play out the most runs, and almost nothing will ever complete, but eventually stuff will. So, Wouter comes down to the objective B area, shoots out that guard, shoots out these consoles, gets the code card, chucks a mine as he leaves the area for objective B to complete. Now he switches to the AR-33 assault weapon, opens the door, and shoots. And that will complete the objective. So what was discovered at some point between the 138 and the 127, probably around the 132 or 129 that I mentioned, was that you cannot shoot through that big metal door. You can kind of see 127 there, at the bottom of the screen. You can't shoot through the big metal door as is. However, if it's in the process of opening, the weapons that shoot through doors, the assault rifle AR-33, the RCP-90, the Magnum, things like that, will go through. So if you don't press B at the door, the bullets won't go through. If you do press B at the door and have the key card to open it, and thus the door's starting to open, the bullets will go through. Obviously, we're already saving a good deal of time from having to crouch and go fully into the room. So we're starting to really optimize the level more and more, even though we're still in 2001 at this point. And now Wouter's 127 actually would stand for a long time, over a year, believe it or not, which is pretty remarkable because, you know, the run, it actually looked quite solid in comparison to other stuff that we've seen. But, you know, Randy was a second behind, Carl was 2 seconds behind, but it stood for a long time. It actually stood for over a year until January 2003 when a gentleman named Adam Moore, an Australian fellow, got 126. And now that's kind of like a very well-known run in GoldenEye history. I couldn't, I don't know if any video exists. I think Adam Moore's kind of short on videos. But he got 126, and what's worth noting about a lot of these times is that, like, Carl, who untied the stage, Wouter, Adam Moore, they all played PAL. And I'll get into the differences a little bit later. But Caverns is very interesting because it has 3 difficulties, and with the knowledge we have now, probably each difficulty is slightly advantaged on each different version. The PAL version and the 2 NTSC versions, English and Japanese. So yeah, already kind of getting hints that PAL is superior based on Adam Moore's Untied. Of course, Wouter wouldn't have any of Adam Moore's Untied. Wouter tied the 126 from Adam Moore only a couple days later, 3 days later. And then a couple months later, Wouter would go ahead and get this run, further improving it. So let's take a look. You can kind of get a sense of like how chaotic it can be with rolling guards and all sorts of lag being caused. Some good shots to lure out the scientists there, and you make up the spiral here. Yeah, this is pretty reasonable quality for 2003, and the audio is quite solid, which is good. The spiral is such a weird, like, sort of state in GoldenEye because it's just like so much time to reflect on like what you're doing, the run, and it's like you really do nothing. You're just strafing up a spiral for 20 seconds. It's really quite an interesting sort of phase in any level in the game. So now, okay, so there's a new strategy, sort of innovation. Wouter throws a mine over the cliff to blow up that far right console, and that's much faster than turning and shooting out yourself. Now he backs up while shooting through the steel door, and you can see this run is even more and more optimized than the 127. Very, very solid run, really. Very clean. 125. So yeah, this little innovation is what saved a good deal of time. Throwing the mine over this ridge, and now if you remember the console there, that they would always turn and shoot with the assault rifle, that's now dealt with that mine. So really good little innovation at the time, and just continued optimizations. So great run by Wouter there. This will be tied shortly thereafter, a few months later, in September '03 by a gentleman named Graham Morris. I've shown a few Graham Morris videos in the past, but he was a guy sort of like not too much really written in the history books for him. But he was a solid player and would reach 3rd place behind only Wouter and Boss around this era, you know, mid-late 2003. So this kind of, you know, it's a good run to show to get his name back out there. And yeah, I think he got a couple of Untieds, maybe Jungle Agent, I want to say. He might have untied with 53. He was also a British fellow. So the funny thing is, Caverns Secret Agent and Jungle Agent, if he did get the Jungle Agent untied, both PAL advantage levels. So it kind of shows, like, even though we didn't know at the time, kind of show, you let nature do the talking and you kind of see what happens. Certainly, you can see a good player get untieds on PAL favored stages. And yes, I just looked up, he did get the Jungle Agent 53-second untied. And that was a time that stood up for a long time, actually, so pretty good. He was a good player for his era. Backing up shooting right there, takes out the Objective C consoles, and he's on his merry way with a nice boost through the tunnel. No back boost. Another boost. Wow. That was a really fantastic ending. And so that's something you're going to kind of see through the night. Is like Wouter's ending on his 125. Let's take a look at it. You know, a little bit of stuck there. A back boost. You know, it was okay. Graham Morris's ending, you know, much more to be desired. A boost through the drone tunnel, you know, another boost and right into the lift. So, like, how much time did Graham Morris win on that ending? Could have been a second or more. The level's so laggy and so chaotic that there's no way to, like, manipulate anything there or predict what's going to happen. It just happens. And you can really lose out some nice runs because of having bad ends, and we'll see more of that later on. But of course, this didn't last forever. After Graham tied this 125, Boss has now entered the picture, Bryan Bosshardt. He would get 125 a week after Graham, and so 2 weeks later, Wouter would get 124. That wasn't enough. A week after that, on October 9th, 2003. This audio is quite disturbing, quite compressed. But this is a pretty historical marker on the levels progression. So nice run by Wouter. And this really now, this is how the level became played for a long time. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna call any audio unwatchable, might be close to it. So we know a few guys who are really picky about stream audio, for example. This might be on the list of stuff that's tough to bear. But hey, for 2003, I'm not going to complain about the quality, and certainly a captured video is nice. Just really, really smooth, really strong, beautiful throw over the ridge. Just like, he's like, everything's improved, right? All the motions have improved. Everything's going well. A really nice strafe change there. A little back boost. 3 quick shots through. It's all you need to blow up the Objective C area. And we're doing some good work here. Bingo. Caverns Secret Agent 123. Now, here's the remarkable thing about 123. This was a time that was set in 2003, okay? To this day, 14 years later, guess how many people have beaten 123? 13. Only 13 human beings who have played GoldenEye. You know, literally hundreds of people, have gotten, damn Agent 53, other records. Bunker 117, 83 people have it. Archive 16, 94 people have it. This time set in 2003, only 13 people have ever beaten that. And that kind of shows you how good Wouter was on some levels back then. It's really, really remarkable. And it would take a while, a very long time, for this to happen. And in fact, it wouldn't happen, we're going to watch some more 123s, because 123 stuck around for a good time. So, there's actually a lot of good stories about 123s. This would stay untied for about 7 months. Boss finally tied it in May 04. So it was a classic Wouter-Boss tie. If you look at the rankings back in 04, 05, 03, all the times are tied from Boss and Wouter. So it remained that way for a good while. In January 2006, and I remember this actually quite well, because I just recently joined the Elite at this point. In January 06, Jimbo posted that he had achieved Caverns Secret Agent 123. Now, I actually asked him, and my memory was jogged, I asked him where the video was. And when he told me the story, it all kind of came back to me. Jimbo, the third person to tie 123, and it's, like, no joke, it was probably his last, like, relevant world record. Jimbo's the kind of guy who only ever plays for points. He doesn't really play for world records. So he rarely gets records that only 2 other people have. This might have been the last time it happened. And he had no video. He never had a video of the 123. Now, he had a capture card. And so Bryan, Bosshardt, and other people would send their VHS videotape captures to Jimbo to capture. And I think Boss sent a tape with, like, more than one Caverns Secret Agent 123 on it. So Jimbo just, like, claimed one of them was his. It wasn't. It was quickly found out. So, like, Jimbo essentially, like, lied about video proof back then. And because, again, like, I've told the stories through other episodes of SpeedLore, because it was, like, the Wild West back then, what happened? Jimbo acting silly again, posting a fake Caverns essay 123. Ha, Jimbo, stop acting up. And the video was taken down, but his time remained. And so I remember always kind of questioning, like, did Jimbo actually get 123? And that was January 2006. I joined in, like, mid 05, and that was the first I saw of Jimbo. It really was, because at that point he was 17 or 18, out doing stuff that people who are 17 or 18 do. And he's more of a normie, we'll say. So he wasn't still grinding GoldenEye at that age, out doing things with his buddies, driving their trucks around and whatnot. And but this was the first time he came back. I guess it was the winter break. He got Caverns SA 123, and no video evidence to speak of it. Okay? A couple months later, Ilari also got 123. And those 4 had it. They were the top 4 at the time, or roughly so. They were all top 10 players. Then I tied it in November 2006. I sort of started a little bit of a snowball effect on the level, as I often do. At that point, though, I was maybe even top 3 at that point. So it's kind of overdue for me to get the 123. But yeah. Many others also got 123 just after that, including this man, Greg Lewis. Now, Greg Lewis was a fantastic Perfect Dark player. Got many untieds on Attack Ship, Deep Sea. Again, a PAL player from Australia. Really solid, but he wasn't known to be much of a GoldenEye player. Greg Lewis, I believe, also was top 30 in Mario Kart 64. Just a really strong N64 player. And really nice capture quality as well. He would tie the 123 as well in November 2006. Now, I remember talking to him. He kind of influenced my music listenings back then as well. this was also just after he tied Caverns Agent 142, which at the time was only Wouter and Ilari had it. So it was like quite shocking to see, like, even though he's a good player, I think he was like top 40, top 30 in GoldenEye, you know, a very talented N64 player, to see him get these times which were considered, you know, only for the best of the best, was kind of surprising. And I remember him saying, like, I'm not sure if it was about this video or about the song he used in 142, Caverns 00, but he said if he had to, like, live on an island forever and only listen to one song the rest of his life, it'd be this song, you know? And kind of like, that kind of sums him up in a nutshell. I know Carl's hung out with him a lot, you know, the Australian guys always get together to hang out. Certainly an interesting guy, we talked a ton back in the day. He introduced me to a lot of, like, ambient electronic music, and he would love this. He just loved this kind of music. It's really nice. But I kind of thought it was crazy, like, if you could pick one song, it'd be this one. But hey, you know, you can't, everyone truly loves different things. I don't know what the song is. That's the thing. I uploaded it to YouTube to check for copyright and nothing came up. So it might be like such a obscure song that no one will ever know what it is. You know, it very well could be. I remember him, like, telling me to get albums that he could barely find. You know, this was the kind of guy he was. Also, you know, also might have been back. He might have been back into how do you put it? Experiential substances, we'll say. Back in the day, he would listen to this kind of music and just kind of chill out for days at a time. Very interesting character. Greg Lewis became the 6th person to tie Caverns Secret Agent 123. And it wouldn't end there. It really genuinely wouldn't end there. Dan Cervone would tie it in December 06. 2 days after that, a gentleman by the name of Luke Szkalarz would also tie it. Now, Luke is interesting, and this is... I want to say this is where the story starts, but it might not be. Luke joined at the same time as me, roughly, mid-late 05. He only ever reached a peak of roughly, I think he said it was 65th. I talked to him about this episode. He said he got to 65th place in 2006 or 7, and then he just kind of left the community for a while. Now, while he was reaching, you know, 65th place, he had a few good times, including this one. Caverns Secret Agent 123. Again, he's a PAL player from Australia. Now, I'm kind of making it seem like PAL's a huge advantage. It's not a huge advantage. But it's slightly advantage because you're going to get shot less. You're going to get bumped around the level less. And you're going to do, you know, these small little edges all add up when you're talking about thousands of runs over dozens of hours, you know? They all add up. This wasn't Luke's sort of, like, main focus at the time, though. Luke went for Caverns Agent 102. The record was 103 at the time. And he spent a lot of hours going for 102. Probably, like, maybe 100, maybe more. The thing is, Luke was playing 1.1 cruise control at the time, and PAL. And so, for Agent, that's not advantaged. You know? Like I said, the way it breaks down is Caverns Agent, you want to be playing NTSC English. Caverns Secret Agent, you want to be playing PAL. Caverns 00, you want to be playing NTSC Japanese. And the reason for that all, the most important one is 00 Agent Japanese, because that has an extra body armor, so you can actually, like, live the level, which is hard. Secret Agent, you want to play PAL just to get shot less. Their guards are slightly worse at aiming. Yeah, look at that accuracy, 112. Look at this, like, cycling on the CRT2. And then, Agent, you want to play English, is just the least laggy. Ironic, it's so funny how it all breaks up. Agent's least laggy because there's the least going on. So you want to be playing it on English, the least laggy version. On Secret Agent, there's so much going on, the level becomes so laggy. And when a level's super mega epic laggy, PAL becomes less affected by it. So it's just all sorts of crazy stuff. Okay, how can your accuracy be over 100%? The AR-33 shoots through stuff. So, for example, here at this Objective B area, he's shooting both this guard and the console behind him. So for these 6 shots, he's getting 200% accuracy. Maybe 300 because there's another guard behind this one. So when you add all that up, like 6 or 9 shots were 300% accuracy, that adds up higher. Actually, if you go on to, I think, Train, the boxes count as a hit. So you can use like a Magnum and hit 6 boxes and guards, and your accuracy is like 600, 700%. It's something kind of cool I could maybe show you guys after this episode. So this is stuff that's kind of been, if you played the game a lot as a kid, even not speedrunning, just experimenting, this is stuff you might have picked up back then. But yeah, Luke, you know, this was kind of surprising to see someone get 123 who was ranked in the 60s or lower. You know, I guess Greg Lewis, you know, was maybe 30th. But other than that, it was only top 10 players who had 123. So Luke's run here was very solid. A very nice run from a good young man playing GoldenEye, going for a few records. And Luke would kind of always play like, he kind of go for good times, but you know, he told me he wasn't too focused back then. He would kind of play for fun, play if it felt right. You know, he wouldn't kind of try to look into his mistakes and whatnot as much back. Just kind of play a less optimal version, one that you might think more 16 and 17-year-olds would play, like him and I were that age back then. Now here's yet another 123. This time it was Adam Moore. Now this might be Adam Moore's last world record. Again, he had kind of left the elite by this point, but this was, again, December 2006, so I imagine he probably came back from university or whatever around the holidays and cracked out the old N64 and played a few runs. Yeah, this was, so being in 06, he really hadn't been around, you know, for a long time, probably since 03. Or earlier was the last time Adam Moore was actively PRing. I'm just gonna take a quick look at his PR history. He actually came back recently-ish, but this was his last recorded record for 7 years. So there you have it. Adam Moore, and it's kind of cool because he had Untitled level at 126 5 years prior. So to see him come back to a level that was sort of, you know, he had in the instance in the record book it's cool to see him come back and do some damage. But he would then make this the 9th, he'd become the 9th person to get 123. And you can, it's not like a perfectly optimized level, it's not like, you know, a Streets 112 or a Dan 53 where you can like understand a logjam of people. There's things to be improved on. So 122 was imminent. Who was going to get 122? Good run from Adam. Let's rewatch the ending again. Like, he might have even had a chance at 122 here, to be honest. He had a lot of back boosts here. And, you know, like we saw that Graham Morris run earlier, had, like, several boosts forward. You know, there's one back boost, a second back boost, a third back boost, a fourth back... Like, Adam Moore could have got 122 on this run. Like, that's... Like, maybe even 121, honestly. That was unfortunate from Adam Moore. But alas, a 123 and becoming the 9th person to tie it. Okay. So, who would get 122? Because it's bound to happen. Well, none other than yours truly. In February 2007, I was playing probably the best GoldenEye in my career. I got 3 untied world records in February 07. Frigate Secret Agent 102, Silo Secret Agent 110, and Caverns Secret Agent 122. Like it puts a smile on my face rewatching this. It's one of those things. Getting untitled records is just so sick. Nothing can ever, I don't know, nothing can take them away from you. Like, you always were the first person to get that untied. And I kind of remember, Caverns wasn't a level I spent a lot of time on. Yeah, I was playing 69 on a 4x3 TV as well. I was doing all sorts of weird stuff. But Caverns wasn't one of my levels. Silo, Surface 2, Frigate, those were my levels at the time. So to get an untied like this on Caverns kind of really, spoke that, I was getting places and doing damage on levels that, they weren't necessarily my best level. So that kind of really showed that I was getting to that upper level of players. I was ranked 3rd at the time, but getting 3 untieds in a month, including one, not on my main level, showed a lot, I think. 2 back boosts. You're going to see it's a really, clean, nice run. That one was just super nice. 122. And, I kind of vividly remember as well, getting that record. Your mom's calling you from upstairs for dinner. Dinner's ready, it's on the table, and they're just, getting one last grind in, nail the 122, oh yeah, pumped up, go upstairs to have dinner, all keen and happy. And, yeah, it just really showed, I was there. I was a top player, and kind of had landed. The goose had landed. I got, the Untieds got earlier that month. Frigate SA 102 and Silo SA 110 were better records. But being getting in there, getting more Untieds, was really cool. Makes me happy. Makes me very happy. Okay. Now the thing is, that 122, it was a very crisp run. We're still on the same sort of strategy path. But there wasn't too special about it. 2 backboosts at the end. Probably 121 was feasible at the time. But I didn't get it there. Boss would tie this time in May 07. Ace and Clemens would tie it in September 07. So now we have 4 really strong players with the 122. It wasn't going to last forever. Bryan Bosshardt took it down a notch in November 2007. Let's just see. Probably, I'm just estimating it's going to be a much even smoother run, maybe with even fewer back boosts. Another thing I did is, you'll see at the Objective B area, I threw a mine at the first far right console, shot the middle one with the guard and the key card, and then threw a mine at the leftmost. Kind of back side boost up the stairs. I haven't watched this 121 in a long time, but I'm estimating that he shoots out the left console there and doesn't kind of waste time with mines and whatnot. It was sort of figured out eventually that with shooting the consoles is faster, generally. Throwing the mine at the far right console is really good, but shooting him out is less laggy, smoother. So we'll see what he does here. Throw, AR-33, really nice shots, and no, he still throws the mine, but that was a very nice Objective B area. Really, really nice. A back boost there. Boost to the door. No hits there. Let's see what happens here. Ooh, a little bit of a stuckage. Back boost. A boost forward, though. And right in smoothly. 121. So there we go. Bryan Bosshardt, 121. Improvement. Beat my 122. And that's always sad to see. I mean, it's sad to see your Untieds get tied. Even more sad sometimes to see them get beaten. But there we go. Boss did it. Only 11 days after that, still November 07, David Clemens tied the 121. And this is really when Clemens sort of amped up and was on his rampage through GoldenEye. Clemens just was able to see improvements and optimizations no matter where he was. So of course Clemens didn't stop there at 121. And it wasn't like he would focus on one level at a time. Clemens would play every level at all the time. Clemens was constantly going through the entire game, looking for stuff and like just really improving one bit at a time. A lot of people will approach GoldenEye now focusing on one level, getting a really good time or a record. Grav is an ultimate example out right now. He only goes for level and gets a record. I think all of Grav's times are world records on the rankings, except for like 1 or 2. But the opposite approach is to just fill out your times page and get times on every level. And Clemens did that, and then some, by getting world records on almost every level, improving those world records on every level, getting untides on many levels. Clemens just a madman beast. There's the mind throw. Let's see what he does here. Objective B, really smooth. Yeah, there we go. There's the innovation, the newer strategy of just shooting out that console. And you could see that was faster than pulling out the mines and throwing it there. 1 back boost. No 2 back boosts. Oh! A little bit of a hiccup at the lift there. Probably didn't cost him 119. 120. Really good run, Clemens. Very, very strong run. Now, as much as I talk up Clemens there, Ace certainly was at his level. Ace would tie this only 2 months later. So now we're at a point where Clemens and Ace have 120, and we're in 2008, and that would stay that way, guys, for 2.5 years. You know, it's like a time lapse, like, you know, if you're watching a movie or a series, and it's like 2.5 years later. 120 would last for that long. Considered really strong record. I mean, you could kind of see Clemens, like, you know, the 1 back boost is okay. That's fine. It's like standard. Little hiccup, you know, didn't cost him 119. But it's like, you know, there's always room. Like, that probably would have cost 0.3, 0.5. How much else could he have done to maybe see the improvement being possible? So, we jump ahead 2.5 years, guys. A long time in the era of GoldenEye. December 2010. And we're like, man, we're like hardly getting halfway through the story here. I don't know what music this is Clemens used, but we're just gonna watch a very, very smooth run here. That's from Castlevania, cool. It's kind of funny, like, this was done 2010, he has Castlevania music. No, I was literally with him in Kansas City last week, you know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago? Just over a week ago, actually. A week and a half ago. And, like, he was, like, watching Castlevania streams, we had a Castlevania cart there. It's kind of crazy how this stuff kind of lasts your whole life, you know? Oh, like, that's just such a smooth objective B area. No back boost there is super keen. A boost. 2 boosts. Man, that's how he got 119. Oh my god, dude. That was so smooth. 1 back boost. Let's see how this goes. Really nice entrance. There you go. That's 119 all the way. David Clemens, Caverns Secret Agent 119. Okay. This is where the story starts to begin. 45 minutes into the episode. A year later, Mark Rutsu's on the scene. He ties 119. In November 2011. A year later, Ace comes back to GoldenEye, ties 119. November 2012. Now we're in the Twitch era. 119 is considered a mega strong record. I remember back then, 119 was like considered possible, but only those 3 guys could get it. I had 122. I think Boss had 121 still. Like, that might have been it. It might have been like those 3 with 119, Boss 121, me 122. Everyone was still at 123 or lower. Yeah, John brings up a good point. Henning Blom, the notoriously banned player, had 119, but again, it came to a point where we could just trust none of his videos to be legitimate. So hard to say he ever got it for sure. But 119 was elite, and 118 would take a very elite thing to happen to for it to be possible, and so 119 stood for a long time. Now, as time went on, and certainly as the Twitch era went on, new innovations were being discovered. A lot of new things came about. Another thing that happened because of the Twitch era was the gentleman Luke Szkalarz, who I talked a bit about earlier, came back to the Elite. Now, he actually told me an interesting story. He said when he left the Elite in 2007, he was ranked 65th. He came back in late 2012 at the time people were streaming. He had only fallen to rank 70 in 5 years. Nowadays, if you leave for 5 years, you're going to drip so many points. You're going to lose like 40 ranks. So it kind of shows like how much activity, how many new players there were between like 07 and 2012. Very few. Nowadays, there's so many more new players coming in. It's really cool to see. Probably lots of guys coming in from videos like this one. From marathon runs and streams, all that kind of stuff, right? So it really shows how much GoldenEye's changed over that time. Now, Luke came back with a wholly different approach. Luke told me that actually, in 2010, for his 21st birthday, he asked his folks, his folks are like, what do you want? When you're a 20-year-old man, it's hard for people to know what to gift you, right? You have everything you want, generally speaking. Or it's like, I want like $1,000 PC, like, good luck. Parents are not getting that for me, like, I know. You're not like a 12-year-old girl who wants a Barbie, right? Or a set of Hot Wheels. So Luke told his parents he wanted to learn how to meditate when he was 21 years old. And so they figured it out, and they're like, wow, like that's, they're kind of surprised they figured it out. And they set up with, whether it was meditation lessons or books or whatever. And Luke learned how to meditate, and he credits meditation for really helping him just overall in life become a better, more effective person. And Luke came back to the Elite a couple years after that, 2012, and he told me literally he would focus on levels so much differently. His whole sort of mentality had changed, and he would go for a level, and like if he meditated before playing, he would PB. And it was really cool. And he sort of started to rise the ranks. It's like, wow, like, is Luke this player who was like 60th back in the day, who got some good records? He actually came back in like 08, 09 and got Depot Secret Agent 43, which was quite strong back then, especially for 1.1 PAL. He hadn't switched to 1.2 yet. And he got like Depot 0051, which was like, he had some strong times, when he first played and when he came back a little bit. But now he was getting some really strong times and really getting good world records. And it really kind of came to a head when he got Silo Agent 101. And that was in September. In July of 2013, actually. Silo 101, again, only Ace, Mark, and Clemens had it. So that was a strong time. And not only were people starting to take notice in the community, but, he was starting to sort of realize, like, wow, I can be a top player in this game. I really can. And he kept going. He kept going, and he kept rising really, really hard. He eventually would reach the top 10, which was quite surprising. Like, a lot of people come back to GoldenEye after years gone. Very few of them peak when they come back, Some of them, like Jimbo, peaked at number 3, left for a while, came back, got back into the top 10. That's kind of how it goes. But for Luke to literally transform from like a 70th ranked player to a top 10 player was remarkable. And by November 2013, he was top 10. He got Cradle 0041, put him in the top 10. Not like, that's kind of a classic way to do it. Like your worst level, your worst time. Get some points. Bingo bango, you're top 10 now. So Luke was on everyone's radar. The thing is, in the streaming era, is you want to make a big show, you want to get Untitled, you want to get sick records, and Luke was getting sick records. No Untitled yet, though. And it's sort of like the sign of a really good player to get Untitled. You know, an old pal, Brito, a perfect dart player, he looked up to 50 Cent a lot. He had a motto, get Untitled or die trying. That was Brio's a motto, so kind of permeates through the elite. And guys like Ace and I were saying, hey, Luke, man, when's your Untitled coming? And he didn't really have any plans to imminently go for Untitleds. Okay, so where are we now? In early 2014, Henrik Nordgren, the tool-assisted speedrunner and GoldenEye player, pretty strong player, figured out that if you throw mines and you look away, sometimes they can be unloaded and they can pass through walls or objects. So this is from Ace's Control Agent 357 Untitled record. Just an example, he throws a mine, looks away, and it'll blow up a console, a mainframe in that room. He'll do it again over here in a second. Throw the mine, look away, unload the wall, and it passes through the wall. So we're now in the era where this sort of stuff is starting to happen. Now, it only took a month until someone was like, hey, what if we could do this on Caverns Secret Agent? March 28, 2014, Mirror Mage. Yesterday, Luke had the brilliant idea of somehow unloading the ceiling and throwing a mine to blow up the tanks on Caverns Secret Agent. This saves a lot of time. You don't need the key. The B area becomes less troll. You don't need to run up and shoot the door. Flicker, Mouser, and Luke all managed to get throws past the door, but it landed just short, and it's a very hard throw. Now it's on. It's a very, very rare point when a new strategy is completely imminent. Like, we know it's happening. We know it's on. Now everyone is scrambling to make it work and make it happen. This is probably, kind of happened a little bit with Depot Agent. I talked about that in episode 2. People learned the warp was possible. Everyone started playing for it. But this even more so, because we knew it saved more than 2 seconds. And, this was sort of uncharted territory. Probably not since the train strat in 06 had a new strategy been so, prominently developed that would save significant time. Now, we didn't know it was going to work yet. So we all took to Twitch and started seeing if it was going to work. Here is me playing live on stream, March 29, 2014, and shit is about to get real. That is for sure. So I'm starting to just throw grenades through the door here. Now, ironically, I was trying this just before I started this stream tonight, and I couldn't get any grenades through the door, which is hilarious. But, of course, it's a highlight. I wouldn't show it unless it was impactful for some reason here. So here is a grenade throw. I look away. That one's through the wall. Blows up. Objective
Get
C completed.
Untitled or die trying, bitches.
Isn't that fitting? My reaction.
Get Untitled or die trying, bitches.
Quite the fitting reaction. Look at that. So, March 29, 2014, that was proof of concept that we could blow up Objective C with an explosive. A lot of people were trying the mines. I was trying the grenades. So a lot of stuff was being experimented to see what was up. This was from the stream that night then. Okay? And
112,000 hours since summer 2005. So figure out the math.
What a terrible layout, by the way. Look at that.
And like, from summer 05 until the end, until summer 07, so for 2 years solid, I was playing about 5 hours a day, every day. So that's, if not more. So that's over 3,000 hours right there. And then it didn't decrease that much through university. 08, 09 was like pretty similar the next 2 years. So I'd say that's about, going to summer 09, that's probably 5,000 or 6,000 hours. We'll say 5. And then 2010, 11, 12. From summer of 09 to summer of 12, it was probably 2,000 more, so say that's 7,000. And then however much I've played since I started streaming, so say 9,000 hours.
Isn't it insane to think I was getting, like, you know, there'd be times when I was going for a record like Streets Agent or Archives 54, and I'd get like 800 or 1,000 viewers with this fucking quality layout. It's like, I laugh looking back, you know, it's so insane. The webcam is so laggy, the mic is like clipping. It was an ATR USB 2500, which is apparently a good mic, but it's just clueless. You know, I can't find this Coke sign, Ludosis. I literally don't know where it is. But anyways, let's go on.
Sounds about right. I would say around 9,000 is a pretty good estimate.
I feel like I've aged well. I feel like I'm looking better than I did in 2014, you know? There's a grenade. Threw it.
Holy fuck! It might work! The scientist died! I don't believe it! I hit it! I hit it, but the scientist died. I fucking... Oh my god, dude. I hit the fucking throw.
Okay. So, there was a lot of time lost at the end there. You could really see, like, the ending was the ending gets so laggy because shit's blowing up. But, like, a back boost, a forward boost, guard my way. Literally, if you look at the timer, it's like 3 seconds lost getting the lift. So, if the scientists didn't die there, and I didn't script the ending, it could have been a 117, which would have been a 2-second untied at the time. Unfortunately, it was not to be. I did not hit it. I was not to get another untied on this level. And again, I wasn't the only person streaming this. Other people were streaming, going for using the mine throw. Like, going for a grenade throw is a lot different because in the level you're given mines to start. You have the mines. A grenade you have to, like, get off a guard. So you have to, like, hope a guard pulls one, which is rare-ish. On this level, it's not as rare. There's a guard who pulls it maybe 30 or 50% of the time. But you still have to kill him, then select the grenade, prime it, throw it. It's a lot more complicated than just throwing a mine. I always felt the grenade throw was easier. Here's a really interesting thread. One of the best threads, honestly. And this kind of shows you the elite community, how it's different from other communities. You know, the day this all happened, the same day, this is posted at 6:51 a.m. Literally probably just after the end of my stream that night where I had that failed run. What should the strategy name be? A poll. The Szklarz factor. Schrodinger's door. You know, a lot of people want key card list. That's not cool. I like behind the veil. Kind of sounds like an SM64 type of star thing. You know, Fast C, GoldenEye. You know, I had these ideas. You know, the Iron Curtain. You know, grenade for Radio Room Miracle. I like that one. Do we want to go after stuff like, you know, people call like news stories or like sports events? You know, the Immaculate Reception is a famous football catch. So the Immaculate Projection, you project the grenade. You the throw of God, Henning's final splice, or taking from the rumble in the jungle, or the thriller in Manila, the mad urn in the caverns. That one's pretty good. Some other suggestions, Henrik, GoldenEye, Jimbo Caverns. I don't want to say that, I might get the vid demonetized. I don't know what Jimbo was thinking there. Then I came up with the Lotto in the Grotto, and that kind of stuck. That kind of stuck. Brandon Sanford with Up and Over, a little bit random. Boss, Mine Through Ceiling Strat. The Wade Nade, the Grind Mine, all sorts of just fantastic ideas. Really fantastic ideas. I particularly like the Radio Room Miracle. The best one, a really good one here is, Shoot for the Szklarz. That is fantastic. But yeah, I sort of started calling it the Lotto in the Grotto, and nothing really stuck. It's just the strat we use now, but I call it that, and a lot of people do now, and that's going to be the title of this episode. Okay. It's time for some completed runs. So my almost untied was March 30th, 2014, in the early hours of the morning, similar to right now, probably 4 or 5 a.m. Later that day, a gentleman by the name of Michael Kirkness, a longtime leader, reigning from, Manitoba, Canada, met up with Alex Anderson a bunch of times. Very mysterious guy, would come and go. He left the Elite for like 5 years. We thought he was dead. We genuinely thought he might have been dead. But he's back. He got this run in the daytime of March 30th, 2014. And, I remember talking in the episode 2, Depot Agent, about how, it's kind of cool to see certain guys who might get untied records because they've been good players for a long time. But they never got untied. And it's cool to see it happen for them. And so Mouser here, we call him Mouser Scribe was his username. Certainly on that list of guys who it was cool to see this run from. After a long career, Mouser is a very crazy guy because he was the first one to tie Bunker 117 and Runway 22, which were both considered Tier 1 records when they were set. Here's the throw. The Iron Curtain. The Immaculate Projection. The Lotto in the Grotto. Bingo! Mouser Scribe, Michael Kirkness, completes a run on Caverns Secret Agent, and $118 untied world record from Mouser Scribe. Pretty wild. The mine throw is so insane, dude. There's all these guards shooting you. It's completely... there's a back boost, turn, throw, hope it goes over and unloads the door. It does. It bounces off the ground far enough into the room. That's the other thing. The mine has to bounce off the ground in order to, land in close enough to blow up the tanks and whatnot. And the scientists have to not die. Remember that from the first runs I showed. Absolutely nuts to get a completed run. Mouser did, got the untied. Beautiful run. And, a deserving guy to get the untied after all these years. Okay. Obviously, brand new strategy wouldn't be optimized right away. Ilu and Boss would tie 118 that same day. So it wasn't an untied that would last forever, obviously, and he knew that. April 3rd, guess who this is?
To throw with this time because I felt like I should have gotten 116 in this run, but whatever. Honestly, though, my odds with this throw have increased a lot, so I'm probably gonna get no body armor from now on.
Now, the thing is...
And try and maybe even normal NTC, although I'm not. really sure if normal NTC would be better, so I'd probably just keep using Jap, but I think a faster A strat will probably be fine to use too, since I think this strat completes every like 30 minutes or so.
I think, I know this was at a time when the proof policy had been made, so Clemens knew a webcam recorded video would not count. Classic Clemens.
Basically, you have to look up, throw fast, and stay and look up the whole time. Hopefully,
that's so dirty, that B area, though. So filthy. Chucks the mine.
Yeah, see how I kind of looked up there? I'm surprised this is not... Oh, I got 2 backs. That's probably why. Yeah.
Really nice run. Very
I got
nice
2
run.
backs in the drone tunnel. I guess that's why it was 117, but... It's cool. It's cool.
God damn it. So Clemens got 117 without recording on a, high quality record. Knew it wouldn't count. Now, he was actually briefly mentioning that the reason he used Japanese instead of just English was because he had a body armor. Now, you don't need the body armor to live. However, what you do need, or what helps in his mind, and might be true, is that the more health you have, the less stun damage you take. So it's like when you get shot, you're not stunned for as long. And you get shot a lot around this point when you're going for the throw. So having more health gives you more time to throw the grenade because you're not in the sort of the stun animation that long. And that's a pretty clever, like that's like GoldenEye science down to like a perfection from Clemens there to know to do that. So that's pretty impressive. He'll come up later. I'm curious to see if he continues using Japanese or not. But that wouldn't last forever either. The next day, the man himself, who had been rising on the rankings for years to come, I'd love to not mute that, but I have to. It's Betty Davis eyes for the YouTube viewers. Again, of course, it's a classic Elite tradition to put a song in your Untied World Records. And this would be Luke Szkalarz's first Untied World Record. And again, Caverns was sort of his level. He went for 102 back in the day, couldn't quite get it. A boss eventually got that. He did get the 123 Secret Agent as a world record back when he was, ranked 70th. So Caverns had always been one of Luke's best levels, and he would go hard for it, and he would go hard, Meowmix. It's actually quite an interesting story that I'll talk about after we watch this run and see how smoothly it goes. Really nice throw there. He aims with... Let's see, aiming was a little bit slower. Clemens had no auto-aim on, I think, and just shot stuff without aiming. Luke presses the R-aimer, but it's a very smooth run anyways. A little bit of a hiccup there, but nothing bad. It boosted through. The drone tunnel is amazing. Objective C completes, and he's in. And there we go. Luke Szklarz, Caverns Secret Agent, 116. We've already cut 3 seconds off the old record in like a matter of a week. From like the conception of the record, of the strategy, a week later we have 116. Okay. So, Luke actually told me an interesting story about how at the time he was kind of living like at his he was kind of almost a nomad. He had this was now April 2014. In late 2013 he had left his home city of Perth, Australia, and flown across a vast continent to Melbourne to look for work. And he didn't get work right away. And so he was literally living at friends' houses week by week. I think he went to school in Melbourne, so he knew friends out there he could stay with. And he was literally, like, every month he was going into a new place and living in a new place. And so he would get set up on like people's floors and people's like corners of rooms. This thread shows like his setups, you know. He was kind of transferring around the world. He's in some sort of like, you know, air mattress situation. This is the setup he got 116 on, I believe. And, yeah, it's like, he told me he has, like, this corner of the room is, like, his. And, like, this is his friend's room. But he's, like, playing off to the side on a small CRT. Literally couch surfing and getting world records, exactly. While looking for work. And so it was kind of cool because, yeah, just to imagine what he kind of went through, like... And he wasn't, like, slacking off. He was looking hard. And, yeah. He told me at one point he barely got by. He had to sell his iPhone 5 and move to his iPhone 4 for a few extra $100 to stay in Melbourne a little bit longer. And as the fates would happen, that extra money bought him an extra week or two in Melbourne, and he found his job. So it's kind of crazy how this stuff all intertwines. Obviously, like, you know, it was a cool conversation. I sat down with him for about an hour and talked about this before I did this lore. And he was saying, like, it was stressful, but looking back, it was a good time because he had, like, fewer responsibilities. He had some, like, you know, minimum wage, average job to get by while there, while looking for better jobs. And he would come back at night, and he would always play GoldenEye. It sort of became, like, his anchor, you know? This was that time he was grinding up the rankings, made top 10, approaching top 5, and, yeah, GoldenEye was always there for him. Come back and grind out sometimes, you know? So it was cool to see. Now, here's his times page from the 116, and he says himself, my first career Untied, 114 will happen in 2014. Okay, so Luke was happy with his first Untied, but he knew it wasn't going to last forever. It certainly didn't. Illu would play Caverns Secret Agent the same day, and also got an interesting run. One for the history books for sure. Now, Illu, I believe, did a different mind throw, which kind of looks a little bit goofy, but I might consider doing it just to get a completion, actually, if it ever comes to that. So I'm curious to see how this plays out here, what Illu does. Yeah, his layout's a bit hectic. It kind of reflects his personality well. If you saw the Aztec episodes, you would know a little bit more about Illu, for sure. I think he has auto-aim off. Looks kind of like he has auto-aim off. I'm not sure, though. Man, 2 backwards. That's brutal. Nice throw. That was so smooth. Oh my god. Yeah, see, look at this weird throw. And it, like, looks up. Like, it's so goofy. But, who was one to question the work of a mad genius? It completes in the fade out. And Illu gets 116, ties Luke's first Untied. Luke probably thought 116 might stand a little bit longer than just one day. Unfortunately, it didn't. But so the rankings look like this. And now they didn't quite look like this. Generally speaking, on the elite rankings, the letters of a record are listed in the order it was tied. You know, we all know Streaks 112. Mark got it first. Lockwood got it afterwards. And MRRL time. That's where it comes from, if you didn't know, by the way. MRRL was listed on the rankings. Then I got it. So it's listed in chronological order. Now, there was a glitch on the rankings where if 2 people got the record in the same day, it wouldn't be in chronological order, it would be in alphabetical order. And so when Luke woke up, Luke got 116, went to sleep. When he woke up, it had been tied by Illu. Not only had it been tied, but the glitch made it read on the rankings. Instead of LSIP, it read IPLS. And that kind of irritated Luke, obviously, because his first Untied already tied, and then it looks like Illu got it first. That was upsetting, certainly. And I asked him, like, Luke, did that make you want to get 114 or 115 right away? And he's like, honestly, it kinda, but I just wanted to get drunk and smoke right away. And that's what he did when he woke up that day. Now, you know, Luke told me, like, you know, getting 116 still was really good. It was a huge weight off his shoulders. Finally got that untied, and he was quite happy about that. Who wouldn't be, right? But we underestimated just how quickly things would continue to evolve on Caverns Secret Agent. The next day, April 5th, 2014. Remember, the March 28th was when Mirror made the post. Is this possible to throw a mine through the wall? A week later, we're still improving. This run, performed by Bryan Bosshardt, would perhaps surpass the work of Luke and Ilu. Boss is an interesting character because, like, there's been times when he's retired from GoldenEye, he doesn't want to play anymore. But, like, when a new strat comes out, he just can't resist, you know? He'll just go for it. Nice throw. Let's see what he does here. Auto aim off. If you have auto aim on, you'll seek the guards into the consoles. You don't want that to happen. That was a beautiful mine throw. That was an immaculate projection. And the scientists don't die. Oh! What a beautiful run. He won the Lotto in the Grotto here, as we call it. He writes a B and another B for Bryan Bosshardt. 114 Caverns Secret Agent. 2-second untied. We're now 5 seconds faster than we were a week ago with this new strategy. Truly amazing. I don't know why the video is 3:57 long. It's Boss. He just left the end screen on for 2 minutes. Now, Luke told me when he saw the run, he described it as like a little bit unfair because there's a boost and then a second boost, right? Now you can see how low frames you have. Like, it's so laggy. It's so laggy, it's uncontrollable. But Boss gets this insanely lucky ending with 2 boosts and right and lift. Now let's compare this to, like, Ilu's 116. You know, the shit's blowing up. There's a back boost, there's a forward boost. You know, there's a weird side boost, right? Like, this isn't a level where you're gonna get favorable endings very often. And Boss, this is Luke's 116, back boost, forward boost. You know, lag. Yeah, pretty smooth. But Boss really got a nice ending. Despite the run, you know, Luke felt it didn't look quite as good as, or it didn't look as good as a 114 should. So Luke was kind of bothered, and Luke went to the casino and got drunk that night, even though he was kind of short. It was short on cash. You know, he was scraping by in his iPhone 5 sale. Luke went to the casino, got drunk. After seeing the 114, came back the next morning, played for 5 minutes, and got this run. And I can relate, to be honest, of, like, you know, being so mad when someone gets a record, beats one of your levels. And also, I think my Surface 2 Agent 50 was actually the night, it was like after prom for me. Untied record, you know, it was like at 5:30 in the morning. I'd woken up after not a full sleep and gotten untied. So these things happen, you know, these things do happen. You know, you wake up in a foggy mist, turn on GoldenEye early in the morning, and sometimes some beautiful things can come up. Yeah, this was a super clean run. Well, no, Ludosis. Luke was mad because Boss beat his record by 2 seconds. Like, that B area wasn't that good, to be honest, but, like, now we have a nice ending. There's a good boost. Only one back. A pretty, like, low leg for the level ending. Objective C completes, the scientists don't fail, and we're in it. Luke Szklarz shoots for the Szklarz, matches Boss's incredible 114. Very, very nice run there. So now we have Boss and Luke with 114s. Ilu has a 116, Mouser 118. I don't think anyone else had any better time at that point. No, Luke didn't zoom in here. He zoomed in for 116. And Luke realized not to zoom in there. You see, that aim was like, could have been a little bit better maybe? But like 114's really solid. Especially over here, like, that boost is nice. Let's check it out again. Yeah, so like shoots here. Could have been like, you know, half a second, quarter second faster. No damage there's really nice. Nice throw. A big boost in there. So 114 is now solid. Solid time. You know, certainly not completely and utterly optimized, but a very good record for the time being. Now, to illustrate just how good the record is, though, well, the thing is, Asher is asking for no back boosts on Caverns Secret Agent is just like asking for, you know, any unlikely thing to happen. Do you guys know what's coming? Our lovely friend, the one and only hapless Jimbo Barrett. He decides, about a few days later, after the new strat's been kind of fleshed out, why don't I try the level? I have a 123 from 06. It's now 2014. Let's see what I can do. Let's see how this goes. The record's 114 by Luke and Boss, achieved 3 and 4 days earlier.
Hide underneath the throw.
Let's see how Jimbo fares. That was weird. Weird mind throw. He was playing Japanese for the body armor. Very, very rough start there, Jimbo. Not clean at all. Probably lost 2 or 3 seconds, honestly, at that point to Luke's 114. Probably 2. I'd say 2 seconds. Yeah, Jimbo loves including failed runs before the actual run. That's true. Yeah, I remember these guys in my chat. Crazy Chicken, Goose Daroo. If you guys are around on YouTube watching still, you know, let me know. I haven't seen you guys for a while, but brings back some memories, these names.
This run is fucking unbelievable trash.
The law of GoldenEye. Do your worst runs somehow have the ones that complete?
This is a run too, and of course it's the worst run in the world. That's bullshit. This is like 120. It's a PB. That's terrible. That's.
Was it actually 11 back boosts? Like, you know what? It could have happened to any of us, but because it happened to Jimbo, it's just so fitting. Obviously does not having as much success as the other guys. Look, my PB is still 121, with the old strat that doesn't save 6 seconds, but still, you know, like, I can't really talk, I don't have much better. But there we go, a classic run from Jimbo. Okay, so now that's all out of the way. These are the people who have completed the new strategy at this point. For some reason, half a year later, September 2014, Luke, Szkalarz, is now gainfully employed at an architecture firm, living his dream career, living comfortably in Melbourne now, no longer couch surfing. Starts this video with a nice quote from Werner Herzog, a classic quote. If I had to climb into hell and back and wrestle the devil himself for my films, I would do it. And that's sort of Luke's mentality when it comes to this run. Again, it has a song in it. Might be a reason why we can't hear it. I'll link the original in the YouTube description. But what do we think might have happened here? I kind of asked Luke as well, like, what was his motivation in just, like, coming back to Caverns Secret Agent? Even though 114 was, like, really good. Only Boss had it. No one had 115. Illu had 116. That was it, right? And he's like, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. Luke hadn't quite made the top 5, even. Boss, if you look at the rankings, there's a huge gap between, like, now it's between 7th and 6th. Between me and Boss, actually. But the gap, of Boss and above, and everyone else, is massive. And Luke was spending these months trying to traverse that gap. We made the top 10 in November 2013. We're now in September 2014, is still not top 5. That gap is just so huge. And so it kind of ignites, like, not really a rivalry, but like a mini rivalry with him and Boss. Boss getting the 114, beating him. That was really, really nice. Chucks them, oh man. Like, hardly any bad, boost. One back there. It completes. And, Caverns Secret Agent 113 performed by Luke Szklarz. That is what I call a run. Untied world record. And the thing is, like, something I should point out is, like, Luke's 116 Untied. It's, like, a good Untied and all, but I don't want to call it, like, a fake Untied. But because it was done with a new strategy, it's not, like, as, like, you know, top-tier, hardcore, legit as, say, you know, a run, an Untied on an established level with established strategy. You know, what's a good example? The Untieds this year, Frigate, Secret Agent 59 and 58. You know, it's an old level, played the same way, and someone goes even lower. When you take advantage of a new strat that cuts a lot of time getting Untied on the way, it's, like, not as, like, clean, I guess, is the way I see it. A lot of people see it differently, but that's the way I see it, at least. You know, I got an Untied on Perfect Dark on Mr. Blonde's Revenge because of a new strategy. It doesn't mean I'm a great Perfect Dark player. I just took advantage of a new strat. So Luke's 116, I felt, was kind of like that. But this 113 really, like, put the icing on the cake that Luke is a player who can get good Untied world records. Because even with the new strat, that 113 is where this should be. That's a fantastic Untied record. Just watch this ending again. Just absolutely beautiful. This throw right over, switch to assault rifle. Oh, like, that just so... He, like, gets a back boost and still nails it. The throw's just, like, marvelous. Pristine. A boost. And now it's like he feels the leg starting. The scientists aren't dead. It's, like, so intensely nerve-wracking. And he makes it in. And that is a run, boys. That is a real run. And that would remain untied for all of 2014. He got it in September 2014. It would remain untied, guys, my friends, for all of 2015. 2015. Now, there's someone out there. You know, if I were to pick someone in the Elite, well, you could pick two guys. I was going to say, if there's someone in the Elite who's kind of like the Night King, you know, he's always there, ready to, you're always in the back of your mind, ready to eat you alive and take what is great from you. It's this man. It's this man. And he decided to play Caverns Secret Agent early 2016. Not only that, even though Clemens, for years, couldn't figure out how to deinterlace his XSplit feed, he did figure out how to put a, image of Luke's head photoshopped onto pretzel twists called Mr. Salty, because he thought Luke was going to be salty that he was going for his Untied.
But on Jab, it'll blow up the first 10, and then 5 seconds later it'll blow up the rest or something.
So Clemens is playing for Caverns Secret Agent 113, trying to tie Luke's Untied. It's been untied for 15 months now.
It's really weird.
Let's see what happens. You guys can see the non-deinterlacing, right? Because I can. Nice throw. Definitely auto aim is off here. Might be something I should do. Playing this level. It's just... I should, emphasize how hard the mine throw is. We've seen a lot of runs where the mine throw completes. But, if you've ever watched me play this level, it's been hours of me throwing the mine and it not going through the wall. The mine only goes through the wall, once every 50, 100 throws. Maybe someone like Clemens is better. Or Luke. But, it's not... It's a rarity. And then, on top of that, the scientists will usually die. So... completing the run is not very common. Oh, that was so crisp. Nice throw. Oh, no. The leg, it's objective complete.
No! No!
The scientists failed and died in the fade out of the level.
Run was so insane, dude. That was so insane.
And so, a lot of people always ask this, oh, 112, you got the record. No, we didn't. This up here says time. This says best time. His best time's still 114 because the mission failed. And we might be able to find the frame where you can see it failed.
No!
Yeah, right there, right? A couple frames ago. There. So, that means failed. Objective D, scientists failed. They died in the fade out. Look at it. He's disgusted. Look at that reaction. Who wouldn't be? It would have been an untied 112. The gods did not have it in them to gift Clemens that run there. Terrible. But Clemens is a resilient fellow. 2 months later, in March 2016, he was back at it. How did he recover so quickly?
Two 112s in a row.
So there's a 112
fails in a
fail
row.
from Clemens.
That's pretty sick.
Two
That
112
was
fails in a row.
Close.
He thinks it almost completed.
That was a close run.
Let me just tell you guys, get ready for the mic to clip again. Okay? I'll give you a fair warning this time. Nice interlacing on this video.
Yeah, I know. I didn't hear it. I knew it had a chance of going through. But something about it felt wrong. I knew something about it was wrong, but it definitely was close. It very well could have gone through. Dude, I got that same boost.
beautiful. What?
Come on. Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy fucking shit, dude! That really is insane! Fuck! Okay, whatever, I got a world record. Fuck! Oh, it was like 0.0. Fuck! Fucking 0.0. Whatever, dude. I got it. I'm fucking done with this level.
That's one of the most classic reactions in modern GoldenEye history for sure. He thought he got the 112, and was mad to see the, oh, it's not an untied, it's only the first person to tie Luke's 1+ year untied world record. Ah, shucks, right? That's Clemens in a nutshell for you. But yeah, he finally tied the 113, and, Luke told me that both Luke's and Clemens' 113 certainly show 112 potential, but neither were. And the level is so, finicky. I'm glad I showed at least one failed run in there, because that's 99.9% of runs on this level. More than that, even. You're not going to get many completions. And so even though both Luke and Clemens' runs might have been able to be cleaner somewhere, and 112 is certainly possible, 113 is a very strong place for the record to be right now. Yeah, okay. So let's take a look at the rankings as they stand now. And you'll see Caverns Secret Agent, literally, Luke and Clemens 113, Boss 114, Ilu and Wotus 116, Carl 117, there's Mouser's 118, that was untied. Rutsu and Ace have 119. Henrik got a 1, but Rutsu and Ace's 119 was done with the old strategy. Seriously. So it's like, that used to be the world record. Remember when Clemens got, I showed that video? Only 7 people have beaten the old world record with the new strategy. And it saves 6 seconds. So it that, if anything, should emphasize just how hard the record is to beat. It really should. And again, Wouter, 123 back in the day, only 13 people have beaten that. That really speaks a lot about the level. Now 30 people have 123 or better. So that's sort of kind of this, people get 123 and they're like, okay, enough. But this is a hard level to complete. Another cool thing I want to show you guys is this message I got, from, I guess it was late 2015. From our pal Clint Stevens TV. I blacked most of it out, but you know how things go. It's in speedrunning, a lot of the streamers are probably maybe closer than you might imagine if you're just a viewer. You don't know all the inside, things in streaming. And so it was at the time when Clint got signed by Archon for a little while. And I was, I was kind of supportive of this when most people kind of weren't. They were kind of oh, fuck this guy. He's getting signed by an esports team. Who do you think, what do you think is going on here? But I was like, cool, that's really cool. That's good news for speedrunning. And so we exchanged a few Twitter messages. And I thought this was kind of cool because Clint's my intro to speedrunning was watching you try and throw a mine through a wall or some shit on Caverns for an hour. That was Clint's intro to speedrunning. Isn't that insane? Clint's intro to speedrunning was, where is it? This wild shit. If this never happened,
And then how much I've played it since I started streaming. So
clearly the guy's now the face of speedrunning, the biggest speedrunner around.
I would say around.
It's crazy to think. Just the butterfly effect, how things might have been different if I was not streaming Caverns Agent or Caverns Secret Agent on this fateful night with these absurd grenade throws through the wall. So yeah, it's just kind of cool to see how tight knit the speedrunning community can be. And how a lot of your streamers who you watch might know each other at levels that you don't necessarily notice on streams. So that's cool.
I don't believe it. I hit it.
I don't know why. I don't know why you would want to take up speedrunning after seeing this shit. But hey, Clint's an interesting man to say the least. Okay. There's one more run I want to show you guys. Oh, it's hapless Jimbo again, going back for the strategy. Let's see how Jimbo does here.
Madden 06. What? That was a back boost?
I'll say. Poor Jimbo, dude, honestly. I was expecting a back there, to be honest. It's a 4 boost.
God damn it! How fast I try to make that, yep. If he wants to back you, he's gonna get you.
Ooh, not as nice as Luke and Clemens. Another back boost. Another back boost. Doing the Ilu throw. Another back boost, another back boost.
Ah, bitch!
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
God damn it! The run, and I got like an 05 ending. Ah! It's happened. Lightning struck twice. God damn it! Oh, what a joke! This whole game's a joke. Jesus fucking Christ! That was like an 05 or an 06 ending.
It really was. It really was. Look at this. After the throw. 1. 2. This is nuts.
Ah, bitch!
3, 4, 5, 6. That's the most I've ever seen. 7.
God damn it! The run, and I got like a.
So, really, if you want to know more about the level, that's the video you should watch. Jimbo haplessly trying to complete some record pace runs on the level. Not so fast. And that's most people's experience playing Caverns Secret Agent, as you can see from the current standings, the current rankings. Literally, like, you know, Pettit and I got 121 before the new strategy was found, before the mine through the wall, the Lotto in the Grotto, shoot for the Szklarz, Schrodinger's door, the Iron Curtain, before whatever you want to call was found. And, you know, only these people have ever gotten better. And that kind of shows you just how hard it is. So the strategies out there, any of these players with 125, 124, 123 could get something in the 1-teens. The level is simply too troll, and they don't want to deal with it. And I don't blame them. I'm certainly one of these people who doesn't want to deal with it either. I could gain a lot of points by getting 116. That's only 8 points. It's not that worth it to put up with that kind of madness for so long. So there you guys have it. There is, in a nutshell, Caverns Secret Agent, the SpeedLore episode number 7. Thank you all for watching. It's always a pleasure putting this together. It was really good, actually, talking to Luke about this one, getting his perspective on this level, because this episode really is about him. He's going to be the thumbnail and all that. So, and it's always cool to do a level on a new strategy, because there's always like this gold rush that comes in when a new strat's discovered. And we saw Mouser, Luke, Boss get Untides. And it could have been more. Could have been a lot more. I could have got the Untied and I didn't quite get it. But these kind of gold rushes that form when a new strategy comes along, they're becoming more and more rare as time goes on and as strategies are less and less likely to blow a level open. Like, a lot of times a strategy will come along and it'll save 1 second, which is huge, but it only means the top players get the Untied. A strategy that saves 5 seconds, that means a lot of players are in the game, in the mix, and that's always cool to see. And this is probably the most recent time it's happened in GoldenEye speedrunning. When will it happen again? When will we have another Lotto in the Grotto? Maybe never. Hope you all enjoyed the episode. I'll be back next month with another, maybe Silo, Secret Agent, or Double Agent, but we will see what happens, and hopefully many more streams and videos in between. I finally went and made a Patreon, by the way. I know a few guys on YouTube have asked about that, so I'll also link that in the description if you want to, jump on in there. And thanks. Your support is always appreciated, not just monetarily, but just hanging out and chatting and lurking and watching the videos and commenting and enjoying what I do. So thank you again, everyone. It was a great episode. Stay true, and I'll see you all in my next stream or video.